All right, let's go. Welcome to the Summer of Love, everyone. My name is Emily. We're gonna kick things off. So just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Emily. I'm on the marketing team here at Cast Iron, the website builder made just for food businesses. Today we're here to celebrate one thing, the fact that you can actually have a website that you love. That's made just for food businesses, that doesn't cost a gazillion dollars, that's easy to update, and that can actually help you make more money. I would love to introduce you all to Laura Luke, the owner of Butterfly Bakes ATL and one of our good friends at Cast Iron. Laura is going to be chatting with us about why a website is so important for any food business, whether you sell cookies, cakes, meal prep, or something else entirely. So with that, Laura, I will pass it over to you.
Thanks, Emily, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. That way we can get right into the good stuff about why you need a website to run your food business. So welcome. We're so excited that you're here. Thank you for taking the time to pause what you're doing. We know you're all busy, and it's sometimes hard to kind of take a step back from the production side and really start to think about what we need and we want moving forward and how that aligns with our goals. So I'm super honored to be here. Like I said, this is a picture of me doing what I love to do the most in the world, and that's be creative and make cookies. So I'm right there alongside you in terms of running a business and doing something that I love. I'm a cottage food business based here in Atlanta, Georgia. I specialize in sugar cookies decorated with royal icing. I do custom cookies for all different types of events. I do cookies for corporations. I have an Eddie printer, and I've recently expanded my business to that side as well. So juggling all the things, just like all of you. And when I first started, it was about 3 years ago. It was during the pandemic. It was Christmas of 2020 was the first time I ever sold cookies. And I had a 6-month-old time and a 3-year-old at the time, and I had retired from a corporate career, so I just kind of felt like, oh, I'll just have this fun little thing on the side that I'll do. And I started taking orders through my personal Instagram at the time, which I was never a person that was active on social media, so I probably had 400 or so followers. And I just felt like, oh, this will just be something that kind of grows organically and will be word of mouth, and it'll just be totally like manageable and fun. And then I quickly realized that not only do a lot of people want cookies, thankfully, but I love making them so much. So I found myself really motivated to find more opportunities to make cookies. So it quickly kind of became this thing that I needed a separate account for. So a friend encouraged me to create a separate Instagram account, and I really kind of got into the whole thing about making content, getting my name out there. I thought, wow, this is a great marketing opportunity. And it was, and it brought me a lot of customers. It brought me a lot of direct messages. And then that became unsustainable, because what was happening was I had no filter process, right? I had no, I remember I felt so official when I had a 1-page PDF that I would send to my client or my potential client on DM. And I felt so official that I at least had some kind of price range. And I remember I had a price range of about, let's just say $50 a dozen to $100 a dozen. And so it would take, many back and forth conversations to get to the point where the customer actually knew what they were going to be charged. And then it was like, oh, that's way too much. And then I would get ghosted. So there was a lot of back and forth, and it became really apparent to me that I'm a real business at this point. I'm making real money. I need to get a website. So I was a little bit late to the game, but I was able to create a website through one of those platforms that Emily recently shared on her screen. And that worked, just fine for me. It did what it was supposed to do. It got me used to running my business through a website, and that was great. And then I found Cast Iron, and I'm so glad that I did, because to me, Cast iron has all these great benefits, but for me, it's bigger than a website. It's really a community. It's a company of people that care about us, that want us to be successful, that understand our needs. And for me, that was a really important value that I connected with really, really quickly. And I just feel lucky and excited to see them grow and, be a small part of it. So we all have our excuses, right? It's like, especially when we're first starting out, or maybe you've been in business a long time and you just feel like, oh, that's just going to be one more thing I'm going to have to do. And I know for me, especially in the beginning, I just felt like, well, I'm never going to be big enough to need a website. What I do is very specialized. I'm only dealing with, let's say, 1 to 3 people per week. I'm making custom cookies for them. I don't have hundreds of customers knocking down my door. So, I'll just never be big enough to need a website. I'm not a tech person. I'm a creative person. I'm a person that loves, being in my mode, being in my studio, really putting on my headphones, putting my head down, not trying to figure out a machine or trying to figure out a website. So that can be a really big thing for a lot of people. And that's why, again, as Mark will show us, cast iron is really built for people like us that are not in the tech world, are not like going to be spending 8 to 10 hours building out a website from scratch. So it's really meant to be plug and play, and the new features are just making it easier and easier every single day with that. Maybe you have a really solid presence on social media. I grew pretty quickly those first few months that I started sharing content consistently. I was getting plenty of followers. I was getting plenty of people that were reaching out to me. I didn't need a website for my marketing. I had social media, but obviously that became unsustainable for all the reasons I said before. And maybe you're someone that has been doing this a long time. You live in a town where everyone knows you. You're the cake lady or you're the cookie lady. People see you in the grocery store and they place an order with you, like as you're shopping. Maybe you have a really loyal client base and you don't need any more clients. Well, how's that going for you? Do you like being stopped in the store? Do you like feeling like, okay, I got to call Sally and ask her, I know it's her kid's birthday. Allowing things to funnel through your website actually gives you more freedom. And it's more freedom that allows you to have more choice in how you spend your time. So real quick, before I get into that, I want you to look at these 4 excuses. And I want you to ask yourself, what do all of these statements have in common? You may not resonate with each one. I resonate with a few of them. But what do all of these have in common? The answer is you. They are all about you. So you got to know all of these reasons or excuses that you have for not having a website, they keep your business about you and not your customer or your product. Having a website will actually give you more of what you desire as a business owner, whether that's time, whether that's money, whether that's more customers, more structure in your business. You don't have the little birdies chirping in your ear all day at the carpool line. Hey, oh, hey, it's Bobby's birthday next week. You got to make a cake for us. Everything has got to be funneled through your website and there's no more excuses. So having a website gives you all the good things. Like, I swear to you, once you get to the point where you set it up and it just does the work for you, it gives you public knowledge of your products and services. Maybe you have plenty of customers, but maybe all those customers aren't great. Maybe you want to let some of those little birdies fly. Efficiency in your order intake process. It doesn't get more efficient than having a website. I can tell you that. That back and forth conversation that I used to have with people, and then it would get to a point where it's like, oh, I don't really want to spend the money, whatever. Now you don't even get through my order form without knowing what you're going to pay, right? So my website has become the filtration system for my customers. So once a customer gets to me, I know that they're serious. You may have 1 or 2 flake every once and again. I had somebody this week actually reach out to me, and they wanted to order cookies for a bridal shower. And I noticed that they requested delivery, which I don't really offer delivery. I do sometimes if it's, a corporate order and maybe it's a lot of cookies, or like it's the exception, not the rule. But I noticed that they were in a city about an hour away from me. And I said, is this going to be, is it going to be okay for you to come to where I'm at? And they actually ended up saying, we're going to go with someone local. So it's the exception, not the rule, that your website is going to enable you to not even have to interact with people that are going to, in essence, waste your time, because that was a waste of my time. It was a waste of her time, but it was about 5 minutes of my time versus a back and forth conversation about, we didn't even have to get through all the other kind of markers of someone not being a good customer. My website does that for me. Having a website gives you security in your payment system. If nothing else, just please understand that when you're dealing with people's money and you're dealing with transactions, it's tricky business, right? Because we're no longer in a cash society. Everything is electronic. And there are unfortunately people out there that are, very good at what they do, which is, scamming people and taking advantage. And I have gotten, in my personal life, as I'm sure you all have, some just really, really good scams. Like, hey, it's your Amazon account, click on this link. Having a payment system through a website will give you the security of, like, I don't even see my customers' information, right? So it gives you that security knowing that these customers are legitimate. And it gives your customer security knowing that you have a secure system that doesn't require them to give you their payment information. A website gives you reporting capabilities. Obviously, this is super helpful during tax time when it's like, oh my gosh, like I have to get all the different, Venmo, or someone paid me through Zelle, or someone paid me through check. I mean, I actually took checks before. So it gives that all-in-one reporting capability. Doing your taxes will never be easier. I promise you that. And also, one of the things that it will allow you to do is really take a look at your sales and make some decisions, as we all should be making, quarterly or annually, decisions about what we're offering. Maybe you have a menu of items and some items do better than others. One of the newer features that I've noticed is on my cast iron website, if I can look up any product that I have on that website, and it will give me I don't have to run a report. This is just on the website. It will give me a cumulative number of how much sales I've made from a particular product. So that can be really helpful if you're kind of on the fence about, well, I have 20 cake flavors, maybe not all 20 need to be on there. You can just easily get that information and you don't have to look through a list of orders. Also gives you inventory tracking if that's something that you require for your particular business. It's not something that I really utilize unless I'm doing some kind of flash sale or like a holiday sale or something like that, and I really need to keep track of that. But that can be super helpful, that you input the number of items that you have as inventory, and it will update when you can sell out. Email marketing is built into a website where it will gather a list of customers for you. It will gather a list of people that want to subscribe to your businesses. If you're someone that has a weekly menu as part of a meal prep, or you are someone that does pop-ups, you're at different locations. Email has been proven to be the most effective way to communicate directly with your customers. As we've seen, social media, it gets harder and harder to reach people that even are followers of ours. And as Emily said, and I put this one last for a reason. When you have a great website, you can absolutely charge more. Wait, what? Yeah, you can charge more when you have a website. You don't have to make a better product. You don't have to change anything you're doing. You just charge more. Having a website increases your perceived value as a business. It just does. When you have a website that looks professional, that has beautiful pictures, that has a brand image, all the same fonts, and we're so conditioned now to put together the fact that someone has a professional website, they're a business. I don't care if they're a person that's making cookies in their house and selling them. Your perception in the market is going to be that you're a legitimate business. It gives you credibility as a business that people can trust. And that's really, really important when you're making food, right? Because hopefully you have all the licenses and accreditations that you need as far as food safety, but having a website to the public is going to show them that I have put in time, effort, energy, and money into creating something that can be accessible for people. Real quick, a note about corporate orders. If you are someone that is interested in working with other businesses, maybe you have a product that can be stocked in a staff room, or you're like me and you do custom cookies, or you have an edible printer and you can print on cookies. It's more important than ever that you have a website. Businesses are not going to want to deal with somebody that just takes Venmo or just takes Zelle or check. They're going to want to know that they are going to get the level of service and the level of credibility that you can provide as a business, which you are totally capable of doing. A visually appealing website also gives you the opportunity to better showcase your products. Social media is a big thing, and that's a really great way to market your business, but social media is just going to give you an audience. It's not going to give you customers necessarily. Hopefully, if you have an effective social media, you can funnel people to your website, but without a website, you just have people watching you. So we want to get you more customers. We want to get you better customers. And hopefully you can see that having a website is super valuable. And Emily, I think this is the end of my presentation. So I would be happy to take any questions that you guys have. And also feel free to, reach out to me on social media. You can reach me at Butterfly Bakes ATL. I'll type it into the chat. But it was so great to talk to you guys today. I know that these things are not the fun things to talk about, but we want to make your life easier and your business better.
Yes, great job, Laura. They might not be fun, but they are like the most important. So I love it. Cool. Well, but our first question is, what's like the most common mistake or thing that you see that's missing from people's websites? I'm sure like as you're scrolling, I know what I do, but like as I'm scrolling through Instagram or whatever, I'll go and look at someone's website and I'm like, either this is great or this is bad, but I don't necessarily know what is missing. Like, is there something that you notice that food business owners are not doing a lot?
Yeah, I think when you're not really clear about your pricing, it's very confusing for the customer. Like I'm at a point where I can't even imagine this being an issue, because I have like laid out my pricing. I have 3 pricing tiers for my custom cookies, and this is what the price is, this is what you get, this is what you don't get. So I've made it super, super crystal clear. And I have gone to websites where they just, oh, it's so great, this is what we do, this is what we provide, it's the best, reviews. It's like there's everything on there, but I don't know how much the thing costs. So it may seem obvious to some, but it's really, really important to put your pricing on there, especially if you work in a a business like I do where everything's custom and it's tailored to that customer, you're not just, I like to call my customers clients because they're really people that I want to form a relationship with and I want them to think of me. It's not just like a transactional thing. So I would say having your pricing being really, really clear is crucial.
Yeah, I feel like a follow-up question that we might get on that is like, what if I scare people away with my pricing? Like, is that a fear? Is that valid?
It is valid, but you know, it's one of those things where, again, going back to my very first slide, when I was giving those list of excuses, when you're scared to put something out there that is true to you, but may not be true for other people, like you're still making it about yourself. And for me, it became just try to learn from me because I spent so many months, and I'm grateful that I only spent months doing this and not years, but I spent months dealing with people that couldn't afford my product. And, you know, this isn't like a nonprofit that I'm running that I'm just going to work for everybody. And like, I work way too hard to not get paid, appropriately for my work. And so I just got to a point where I just had to embrace that fact. And it was a little uncomfortable for me because I've just always worked for other people and I've always, fallen in line when it comes to things like that. I was used to working in corporate America where I was paid what the CEO told me I was going to get paid. When it was me deciding what I was going to get paid, it's a little harder, right? So if you really struggle with that, reach out to me. I would love to be an advocate for you, or find a mentor in your business. Just because we don't make the same product doesn't mean we don't have the same struggles. So I would be happy and honored to be that person for you. But again, just acknowledge that like that is a valid fear, but it doesn't have to hold you back.
Yes, great advice. You're getting lots of shout outs in the chat. We did get a question from Paige. Did you hire someone to do your website? I love this question.
No, I didn't. Yeah, that is a great question. I did not hire anyone to do my initial website. I did it, I like to joke with my husband that I'm someone that, if you put me in a room and tell me to put something together, like whatever the normal timeline it is that it takes someone, say it's 30 minutes to put something together, it will take me at least 2 times because I am such a perfectionist. So it's not that I'm not like able to, I'm someone that's very capable, but I will just, I want to make it perfect. Right. So, yeah, I would say, if you have someone in your life that is really good at this stuff and would enjoy helping you, like definitely like call on that person to help. And I would say, aside from the whole like technical aspect, I always think it's good to get a second opinion from someone that's very objective that can look at it and say, even like with cast iron, right? It's super easy to, yes, Mark said, hire cast iron. It's true. But I think even with how easy it is to build a website on cast iron, it's encouraged and it's helpful for you to have somebody else put eyes on your website, and say, hey, just FYI, I would, word this differently or whatever, because cast iron is going to help you with like the skeleton, but you're the one that needs to put in like the content, right? The pictures, the descriptions, the prices, all of that. And so I think, there's a real big opportunity for community with cast iron, because once you're part of cast iron, you're part of a community of folks. So call on your community, call on me, because we can all do better. And that's the thing about a website. Like you're never just done, right? You're always, coming up with new products and coming up with, you have new pictures and your pictures get better over time. So it's going to need to be something that you as a business owner either take on yourself or, if you choose to outsource it, great. But that's just another, thing that you're going to have to budget for.
One last question for you, Laura. Are there certain pages or things to include on your website that you think can actually help you justify charging more for your products? Like certain things that like you're like, oh, if you have that on your website, like that is like evidence that you should be paying more for their product.
Oh, yeah, that's really interesting. I do like the aspect of having the photo gallery because, especially for me, I have 3 tiers of my cookies. So when I feel like when a customer can see examples of what each tier provides to them, it can really give them a visual of, oh, and let's be honest, most people go with the middle just because they don't want to be the highest, they don't want to be the lowest, they want to be in the middle. And that's why I also strategically did my pricing in a way that even if every single person did the middle, it would still be worth it for me, right? Because sometimes the lower one, you'll do it and then you're like, oh, that wasn't worth it. And then sometimes you do the higher one and you're like, wow, that was really like, I got paid good for that, for the amount of effort it was. So I think, yeah, and we've talked about how to take good photos, and you don't have to be a professional photographer and you don't have to have a crazy setup. There are very easy strategies in place, and there's AI and all these things, Canva, and these things now that are helping people create these magnificent photos without having any type of skill or setup. But just because you can take beautiful photos, you have to translate it to the website and put it in front of the customer, right? So if I just had a list out description, people don't read, they want to see pictures, like they want to see, what am I going to get from this? So I think pictures can be really helpful. I think you guys are working on putting a review page or maybe a review spot on the website, but maybe, until then you can creatively insert some pictures of your customers' photos. I know, I'm trying to think of the website that, I think it's Poshmark, where you can sell clothes, right? It's a secondhand clothing thing. You can see like someone's closet, like these aren't beautiful photos, but it's what you want to see what you're getting, right? So whether that's a photo of your process or a photo of your customer with the product or whatever it may be, it just gives that sense of feeling connected to it and feeling like, it's again, that perceived value. It's what you're going to get from it. So the higher quality photos and content that we can have on our website, again, it's just going to help reinforce that, wow, I'm really getting something special here.
Yeah, I love it. The reviews definitely, we hope to have a full built out beautiful review page soon, but something that's actually brand new in cast iron that we released a week or 2 ago was the ability to add a custom page. So it's basically like a blank page. You can drop in whatever you want, really. So if you want a dedicated reviews page, I've seen people design a customer testimonial and drop it into a Canva graphic or something and add it to their photo gallery. But definitely another option would be to use our custom page feature to add as many reviews as you want to that page.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say more, it just depends on what your business is. And again, if you ever need help figuring these things out, just reach out. If you're a meal prep, taste is going to be the most important thing. Maybe the look of it isn't as important because people are just going to be, I scarf down my meals like it's like nobody's business. But when it comes to what I do, the beauty of it is the most important. What I do is really less about food, which frustrates me because then I get people that are like, oh, your cookies taste so good. And I'm like, yeah, they're cookies, like they should taste good. But when it comes to creating a food that is more about the taste, that's when you really need those descriptors. You need those testimonials. You need the people to describe what their experience was. So painting that picture for your customer is really important and really crucial for for the success of your website.
Amazing. Well, Laura, thank you so much. This has been super helpful.